Belkacem Ferradj is back for another interview with us. He is back by popular demand. In his first two video interviews that we did with him, we talked to him about how he got into Scientology in Algeria on the Royal Scotsman flagship in the late 1960s and how he stowed away to get on board the ship and join Scientology. Well, he's got more to tell about that story, and it's very amusing. So you're going to want to stick around and watch that story on this video here. And then we talked to him about how he got trained up as friends with Quentin Hubbard, L. Ron Hubbard's son, and then also about how he became L. Ron Hubbard's personal Scientology counselor for a time being on the ship at a very young age in his early 20s. He eventually left Scientology and the Sea Organization, and then he started up his life outside. And his daughter, who is still a Scientologist, disconnected from him as well as his ex-wife. And so he told that story as well in part 2 of our interview. But in this part, as well as the story about his stowaway, he also tells us about his life after leaving Scientology. He's 77 years old. He lives in Morocco after years of living in the Los Angeles area and running a very successful restaurant in Santa Monica, California. And he tells us a lot about his life and how he's doing these days. So I think you want to watch this video. It's very interesting. He's a great storyteller. So without further ado, here is Bel Ferradj, part 3. Enjoy, please. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our channel, Scientology Peeling the Onion. My name is Mark Fisher, and I'm here with my great co-host, Janice Gillum-Grady. How you doing, Janice, today?
Good, Mark. Good day, everybody. This is going to be a fun interview today because by popular demand, we're having this guest come back. Though he's already told us his Scientology story, there's a few questions that people have asked, and they also enjoyed our guest, and I also enjoyed talking to him. So we're going to have Belkacem Ferradj back on, and he's going to start by telling us a story, which he kind of commented on in a previous interview, of what happened when he returned to Algeria after having stowed away on the Royal Scotsman.
Okay,
so this will be fun.
Without further ado, here's Belkacem Ferradj. Hello, my
Hi,
friend.
Bel.
Good evening, guys. Thank you very much to giving me the opportunity to clarify some of these points. And I'm so glad to see you. Sorry about last week. I couldn't keep my appointment, but I feel much better now. Ready to go.
Yeah,
Good.
and just let our viewers know you're in Morocco right now, correct?
Yes, I've been living here now since March the 11th of 2020.
Because you got stuck there during COVID.
Yes, I sure did.
And your wife...
I came here to sign the papers for my new home, right, in Agadir. And then I was intending to go back. I had an airplane ticket to go back on the 29th of March to gather all my stuff back in California and do away with the things to do away, give to my daughter what I need, blah, 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 and then coming back, and shipping my stuff and coming back. But COVID had it that they locked us on March 20th.
Where did you live in California before you moved
Torrance.
to
In Torrance.
Torrance
area, yeah.
Where's that, down by Redondo Beach?
Just below Hermosa Beach, below Manhattan Beach,
okay.
On the coast there.
Okay, great.
Now, didn't your wife get stuck in Australia during COVID?
Yes, she sure was.
So you're in Morocco.
I came to Morocco to sign the papers, and she went to visit her sister who was getting married in Australia. She stayed there till October the 6th. She didn't come back in till October 7th of 2020. So we parted in March, and we met again in October. She flew, instead of coming back to US, she flew to Morocco.
Right. Crazy times.
What a story. COVID hit everyone one way or another.
Yeah,
It,
Yes.
absolutely.
it didn't hit us physically, but it sure hurt us as far as our belongings. The house was, empty. The clothes were there. My daughter would go once in a while and stay there. But anyway, what a story. To make a long story short, I had to go back a year and a half later after they made these 3 vaccine shots
Right.
mandatory to enter the US. So I had to wait until they had the 3rd one, the same one. I didn't want to mix the shots. And I went back, and what I needed to do 2 years earlier, I did 2 years later.
Ah,
But come to find out that by the time all laws change and you cannot ship personal belongings at the same cost as it was 2 years earlier,
oh,
worth it. So I gave away lots of stuff and gave also to my daughter, Gabriella. I gave her most everything that I have. So no big deal.
Well, that's why when I went over there just earlier, I ended up bringing you a bunch of stuff from Gabriella. I guess that finished getting everything to you.
There was some stuff that I forgot. They're not mine. Those were my wife's. So
Oh, okay.
I only got from you what I needed from me. The magnesium and the vitamins, because here they just don't have that kind of stuff. The
Right.
magnesium exists, but not the stuff like you have, that wonderful mixture, potent stuff that's very nice. Ended up by that magnesium, she's the one taking it and almost finished.
Well, good.
we're talking about the koala calm, right, Janice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took a bottle to Belle when I went to Agadir.
That's great. Well, if you're interested in koala calm, do your little pitch, Janice, real quick.
If you have trouble sleeping or relaxing and want to de-stress, you take Koala Calm. We have it in plain flavor, and we have it in apple and cinnamon. And I even take it every night before I go to bed. So it works for me. I take it with some B1, vitamin B1, 250 milligrams, and I get a peaceful night's sleep.
And it's available in our merchandise store. Just go down below to the store. It's featured. Click on it, and you can have it and try it out. Anyway.
Yep.
And the testimony, my wife takes it about 30 minutes before she goes to bed, and she goes out of light.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Very happy.
It does.
Well,
All
so
right.
let's start with that story. Yeah.
Yep. Let's get into this.
Go ahead. What's the intro for it? Remind everybody, Janice and Belle.
All right. So Belkacem is the translator for the Chandler's office in Algeria, and the Royal Scotsman is there. This is in 1968. And Dick Lottie, who was our port captain at the time, got along really well with Belle. And so Belle ended up stowing away on the Royal Scotsman as we sailed out. And we were heading towards Greece at that time from Algeria. So Belle, you want to pick this up?
Yes. I'm going to give you a little context to what I'm going to tell you so you could have a very clear picture and so you'd be able to follow what happens. If you remember, excuse me, if you remember, I did explain to you that the country being a socialist country under this Soviet kind of style government, security apparatus was very, very complex and very developed. So at the entrance of the main harbor gate, the harbor had 3 entrances: an eastern entrance for the bulk, where all the cargoes that leave the country in bulk, like oil and propane and whatever it is. And then the main entrance where commercial ships come in and passenger ships come in, just like the Royal Scotsman did. And then the western end is mostly for internal shipping, not from outside. And that one is, we don't have anything to do with it. I dealt mostly 99% of the time with the main entrance. That's where you go in and out. And of course, each ship, as I told you, had you saw by yourself, had a policeman and a customs officer 24 hours a day, 3 shifts a day. But this story deals with the guy who was, just like any other harbor or any other place you go into, there's a security guard in the form of a policeman at the time, who was there. That was his assignment. That was his job, full-time job. Every time, we go in, we have company cars and company trucks. You go and he sees the people, he's aware who it is, and the ones he knows, he doesn't stop, and he just moves you on and so forth. So he knew me very well because I was in and out of that all the time. And he happens to be from my own hometown where I was born. And he knows me, he knows my family, he knows everything about me and my family. And so when the decision was made with Dick Laddie that I was going to be stolen away the night previous to the departure, since I lived far away from the harbor, I came into with my personal car. Because the company car, you have to take it in. At the end of the day, you take your personal car, you go home. So I had a little personal car. And our office was on a hilly road, just like the San Francisco hilly roads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had it parked about 3 offices, three stores above my own office. And I had a handbrake on. And I had the wheels turned in so in case something happened, it would go into the pavement.
Yeah.
Anything.
Right.
And I left the documents of the car in the glove box and all that stuff. And I made my way because I could walk to the harbor because to go down, cross over, and we're there. The shipping company's offices were never far from the harbor. Anyhow, so I left my car and I went along the road that I told you about. I couldn't go in through the main because it was locked. So if you remember, I told you I had to go from the entrance of the bulk entrance area and made my way in the darkness along the docks and blah, blah, blah. I got it.
Right.
Okay. So remember this guy who is the main cop at the entrance of the harbor. Okay. Also, another point you need to know, at the time, 1968, we still had passports that were issued from the time of France. France was the
in Algeria, yeah.
Colonial power. When they had independence, it was only until 1970 or 1969 that they changed passport from being blue, issued by France, to green, issued by Algeria.
Okay.
But my passport expired while I was on board, while we were sailing. Okay, so that's another story in itself. Oh. I discovered that my passport expired when we were going to go to Casablanca.
Oh, okay.
And if you remember, in the early days, I don't know how you call it now, maybe it does, but we used to buy a box that had 2 liquids. One was blue, one was clear. And if you needed to change something that was written in ink, you would drop a little drop of the blue on that, what you need to change, and then the white. And all of a sudden, it disappears, right?
Okay.
So mine had expired. My passport expired, I guess, sometime in the month in 68, late part. So I changed the 8 and the 6 to 7 and O. And it must have been the last part of the year because I could travel with it. So I changed it and I said, okay, at least if somebody asks me in Morocco about my passport, it's okay. It's still good. Little did I know it was going to play a huge role in this story later. Like, I can't remember. My heart is beating. I swear to you. Anyway, making a long story short, I was back in Denmark.
Yeah. So on your expired passport or your renewed passport, you were able to travel from the ship to Denmark.
No.
Okay.
I just had it for peace of mind. I
Okay.
was still part of the crew in Casablanca, and then we went and did our things, and then the story about how I got called back in and then sent back to AOSHDK, and I was an auditor at AOSHDK, and I met Edie there, and her and I had a great chemistry going, and we got along so well. I wanted to invite her to come to a vacation. Asked for vacation. I asked, what's his name? Owen.
Starkey.
Owen and Nan. Owen was the captain, so I asked him for a vacation to go for, I think it was just 2 weeks or whatever, and then come back. And he said, sure, we'll go. So we went, and I took her with me. We went to Tunisia and then spent all this time with my sister there, and then went to Algeria. And I had this passport that is blue. And at the entrance, they looked at it, bam, they didn't say anything. They stamped it. So Edith and I spent a heck of a good time in my hometown and introduced her to my family. They loved her. A great time. Came the day to go back. And our flight was going to be Algiers, London, London, Copenhagen. So she was a stunning blonde at the time, model. And the figure was beautiful. Long, golden blonde hair. I mean, gorgeous. The hot air blood people, they're always looking, who is this? Who is this? Who is this? And then they see me with her, and I say, this guy, wow, what a lucky guy. We go to the get our passport stamped by the police, immigration. And he says, hey, your passport is still blue. You didn't get a new passport. I said, yeah, at the end of the year, I'm going to apply for it. Because I'm still good until the end of the year. And then after that, I'm going to get a new one. He said, oh, okay. Bam. Stamps it. Wow. Passed. Okay. Now we go through customs and then we go to the gate. The gate, you sit down and you wait.
Mm-hmm.
And those days, the airport did not have the thing, that bridge that you walk into. There was a bus that comes in and it loads you on the bus and takes you to the airplane.
To get on the plane, right.
Yeah. It was a Boeing 7. It was a time in 1970. It was the Boeing 727 was a big star in the airplanes. It was what the 777 is today.
Yeah.
It had an entrance from the back. You could go from the back and also from the side. And at the doorway to get out from the waiting gate, the waiting hall, to open the door for you to go to the bus, there's a cop. There's a policeman there. There's not just the stewardess from the crew, but there's also the policeman. Guess who was the policeman at the door?
The old guard from the docks.
The main entrance.
And you knew him, right? You knew him from when you were the ship's rep, right?
Yeah, and he knew me very well too.
So he would have known you stowed away on the Royal Scotsman.
He had a doubt because I disappeared the same day the ship went. So he looked at me and he said, Belkacem Ferradj, my dear brother, how are you? Who is this lovely creature with you? What are you doing here? Where were you? I said, I'm a student in England. Ah, I see. We haven't seen you in a long, long time. You haven't been around for a long, long time. Everything okay with you? I said, sure. And he said, wow, we missed you. Do you remember that ship that came that you used to be working with? What happened to it? No, I have no idea. I went to England and I continued my studies there. I have no idea. He said, okay. Well, it's so nice to see you. You going to England, to London? Yes. I said, yes. Okay, good. So he lets us go through. We're going to the bus. His face was not very clean to me. And we get on the airplane, we get our seats. The plane taxis away. And we're about to make a turn to go to the last halt before we take off, the last turn before we take off. And the plane speakers come on. He says, ladies and gentlemen, sorry to disturb, to inform you, we're going to have just a slight little delay for a verification of a passenger. Oh, my heart. And all of a sudden, I see a black Peugeot 504. And those days, the Peugeot 504 with the cars of the cops in civilian clothes. And sure enough, there are two of them that come. They open the back steps, the ladder into the airplane. Walk in these two guys. Don't know how. They're looking for me. And they look, they pass the pass, and they come right to me. And Edith is by the window when I'm sitting there. He said to me just like that, you, up with me. And Edith said, oh, no, I'm with him. They told her, you can go ahead. We have nothing, to do with you. She said, no, I'm with him. I'll stay with him. Okay. They took us off the airplane. They didn't say a word to us. They put me in one car. They put her in another car. And they took us inside the airport through the administrative entrance and up some stairs. They put me in a big room, green, I remember. Black, the car you cannot see through, and her on the other side of the room. And I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. My God. All of a sudden, I hear footsteps. And two with her. All in civilian clothes. This big desk. And when they took us to the airplane, they asked for my passport. So I gave them my passport. So he has my passport in his hand. And the first thing he does is, do you see this? I said, yes, I do. He said, this is Al-Harraj. Okay. Al-Harraj is the name of a city where there is the biggest penitentiary. So to me, he said, this is, you are going to Al-Harraj. In other words, somehow or other, they figured out that the passport was trafficked.
Was counterfeited.
And the policeman who was there told him, hey, that man never left the country legally. I don't think. Check the passport to see if there's any exit stamps. There's none. So I played the dummy. I said, Al-Harraj, what's Al-Harraj? He didn't want to say much. So he takes a piece of paper that's yellow. And he said, you see what this is? I said, yeah. He says, this is your ticket to Al-Harraj. I was flabbergasted, speechless. I don't know, white, red. I don't know what. I don't know what. But he said to me, "Okay, sit down." I was standing up till that time. I said, "Sit down." And he opens the passport, and he's about to start to write my name. So he says, "Wait a minute. Your last name is Ferradj?" "Yes." He said, "Really?" "Yes." He says, "Muhammad Ferradj, who is he to you?" "My brother." "Your brother?" He takes my passport and he hits the desk with it. His desk, and papers fly all over. And he started to swear. And he was swearing like I cannot believe. He took off running with the guys like I don't know what happened. My brother, Muhammad, was the Deputy National Commissioner of Customs for the region of Algiers.
Did you already know that?
Of course, but I didn't know that.
He's the big boss.
Yes. So he never came back. He never came back for almost 2 hours until I hear a group of people coming in the stairs to his office. And I have brother, Muhammad. Yeah, rest in peace. I recognize him from the way he walks. He always kind of like drags his feet, and he always has on his under his shoes those little horseshoe that he used to have, to not to wear out the
Oh,
front.
yeah.
I could tell him among a group of people, and he was there, and they all came in, and they were like at attention. And he looks at me and he says, "What the heck?" I'm not gonna tell you what the heck is wrong with you? What are you doing? What are you doing to our name? What are you doing to our family name? What are you doing to your country? What are you doing to yourself? Are you stupid? Are you mad? Are you crazy? Are you this? Are you? And I'm about to say, "Shut up!" I was about to say something. You have nothing to say. All you have to do is just forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. He said, "You falsified your passport. Huh? You falsified your passport. And also, you don't remember you left your car when you left? And the
Oh
car
yeah.
brakes gave up and the car crashed and broke the window entrance of the whole thing. And then when they looked at the paper, they found you. And you were not nowhere to be found." He said, "The man wants to send you to jail, and I don't blame him. But I am not going to let that happen because of your stupid mistake. You did not have the intention to do this. I know it, and I know you better. And so you better," and he gave me a little wink. He said, "You better do what they say. You stay here, you don't move until I come back." Then all of a sudden, they bring Edith. What happened when she hears all this stuff? I explained to her. They disappear. Now it's been like, hey, my plane left. And it's like, I don't know, around 7 p.m., something like that. Now my plane left, or it's like about 5. All of a sudden, there's some people come. And there's a photographer with a, what do you call it? Where you put, the
Tripod.
tripod.
Yeah.
He said, stand against the wall. He takes a picture of me. And he leaves. Comes back later. You want me new passport? Brought me a new passport. And my brother told me, ask forgiveness from this man. He is the police commissioner of the airport. And if it was not for our name, you would be going to jail, and you deservedly so. You ask him for forgiveness. And by the way, Commissioner, what is your favorite cigar? I told him. He said, okay, When you get to London, tonight you give it to the captain of the airplane. You send him back a box of those cigars. You understand me? I said, for sure I do. And there was a plane that left exactly at 9 p.m. going to London. And they put us back.
Wow.
The airplane. Me with a new passport. And not going to jail. And not having to fear anymore of that guy. Oh. I've never felt fear like that day, going all the way up to the bottom, feeling, being saved.
Yeah.
My brother gave me a hug, and he took me onto the airplane, and the commissioners, the youth, we will forgive you, we understand you, because I was young at the time, early 20s. Yeah. And also take good care of this beautiful lady that's with you. You're a lucky guy.
Can I ask you a couple questions?
Yeah.
So your brother, obviously, he was your older brother, right?
Huh?
Was he your older brother?
Yeah, at that time, Muhammad was most probably in his, 1970, and he's born in 33, was 37 years old.
Oh, okay. So he was quite a bit older than you then.
Yes.
Yeah, because you were in your 20s, right? Your early 20s?
I was 22. I was not finished 23. I'm not arrived 23 yet.
Well, I was going to say it's a good thing that family means something. You know what I mean? There was no disconnection or anything like that, because it paid off that your brother still goes, "Oh, Belle, how you doing?"
Yeah, because when I was there, with Edith before our departure, of course I took her to see him and his wife, and his kids, and
Oh, so they had already seen her.
No idea, and I never told him that I'd falsified my passport or had left on that boat or nothing. Nobody knew a thing.
They just knew you disappeared.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Oh, the crazy things youngsters do.
With me? You see how that caught up with me?
Oh, yeah.
Who knew that it would catch up with you 2 years later?
Right, exactly.
Exactly to the month, July. Exactly to the month, not to the day, but to the month. 2 years later.
That's wild.
The falsification of the passport got found out. Having blown the country, got found out. The guy used to see my car messed up the front window, bay window in his office. And me escaping, going to jail. And but right there to show you that when they want to do something, they do. I will never forget this story for the rest of my life. Never.
No. And the feelings that, of the thought of going to jail, that I remember worrying I was going to go to jail once in Morocco. That was scary.
I mean, when you have a commissioner of the airport telling you, "Hey, this is your ticket to the jail," and I'm about to write, then he looks at the name and he says, "Who the hell is your brother? Who is the hell is Ferradj? Muhammad? What is it?" And then you tell him who he is, and it's his boss.
It's almost like if you were Arthur Hubbard and somebody said, "Who's your dad?" "Oh, Elron." You know what I mean? They go, "What?"
So we arrived to London, and I actually bought, because the captain had instructions. Somebody told him that I was going to give him a box of cigars, and I cigars and a bottle of champagne, and he took them, and he took that guy. My brother told me later on that he did receive them, and he was very happy. And then we went back to AOSHDK a little late, but we arrived, and I was duty the next day, and that story was kind of behind me. I don't know if I got arrested on it or not. I have no idea. I don't remember. I really don't remember, but it sure was a shock. Believe me.
That's a great story.
Did you talk to your brother years later about that?
Yeah, we laughed about it. He told me, I wonder what the hell would have happened if I was not around.
Yeah.
He told me, imagine because he hates their guts. He knows they're just doing nothing but their job, like robots. Imagine, he said, especially with a bomb. He called her a bomb with a bomb like her. What are you doing bringing women like that? He said, to this country, you crazy?
That's wild. Hey, Bill, can I ask you a couple questions?
He said you could see through everything of her clothes. What's the matter with you? You're doing this in this country? You're crazy.
That's right. When all the women are covered up.
Anyway, that was the story.
Can I ask you, Bill? In Algeria, do they speak French or Arabic or what languages?
Both.
Both French and. So, how many languages do you speak?
4.
Which English, French, Arabic,
and Espanol.
Spanish? Wow, wow. You're kind of a citizen of the world.
In California, having lived in California out of the 51 years I lived in the United States, 49 were in California. And the first 2 were in New York.
So the Spanish was very handy.
Oh yeah, but if you know French, it's very easy to pick up Spanish. Very. Yeah.
What did you do in California all during that time? I'm jumping around here, but what did you do after leaving?
After Edith and I blew, well, no, she left because she was not attached to any org, so she didn't blow. She has no ethics problems whatsoever. But after I blew, with her, that was her turn to invite me to come to the United States. So on January 3rd, 1971, we landed in JFK. We came with me having the intention of never going back. I brought in the belly of the 747 that brought us from there, I brought a MGB GT airplane that I put on board the airplane.
Wow.
Courtesy of Nikita Parais, my famous Greek magnet that I was auditing,
Yes.
He paid me such amounts of money, incredible. I bought an MGB GT tax-free for $3,100 or $3,200 in Copenhagen.
So you checked it as baggage? You checked it as baggage?
As cargo.
How did they bring it out? No, I'm just joking.
It was cargo. Really cargo.
Right.
And I bought me a very nice, beautiful, long fur coat with a Cossack hat. Nice clothes. Same came. I had $10,600 in cash with me when I landed in January 3rd, 1971 in New York.
That was a lot of money back then.
A lot of money back then.
Yeah.
And we lived comfortably at her house with her parents. And then she became pregnant. And then her parents told me, we are not going to have it that our daughter will give birth to a child and not being married. So they took us to a justice of the peace when she was about 5 months pregnant. And her father and mother were the witnesses. And we had like a wedding thing with the JP. He gave us a marriage certificate. I took it the next day to the immigration authorities, and they gave me my green card. And I started to work. That was it. And I worked first for other people all the way till 1973. Then I worked for myself from 73 to 83, 84.
What did you do? What kind of business?
I brought rugs, ceramics, and all kinds of traditional art crafts from Tunisia and Morocco and Algeria and Solon in California.
Would you sell to like shop owners and things like that would then carry them? And then did you have to travel back and forth to Tunisia and Morocco? Wow. Yeah.
On his new passport.
Yes.
On a perfectly legal U.S. passport and another.
I was going to say, how many passports do you have now? You know,
Two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and
you
then,
went back and forth then a lot between Morocco and Algeria and Tunisia and the United States, I take it, right?
the what?
You went back and forth a lot between those countries in the U.S.
He's traveling until I came here, and this is the first time in my life that I have stayed 4 years and have been traveled only once overseas. This is the first time in my life. But of course, I'm 77, no longer 20s and 30s and 40s. Right. Sorry.
How about after 84, what did you do? After 84, what did you do?
I opened two new businesses. One was a leather boots, exotic boots that I brought from Mexico. And the other one opened a restaurant on 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica.
Really? What was it?
Well, Oasis Grill.
Was it like Moroccan food or what?
Algerian grill, perfectly Algerian food. All kinds of stuff that are grilled, and the weekend couscous. 3 different kinds of couscous.
Yeah, 3rd Street Promenade on Santa Monica. That was a prestigious location. I remember going to restaurants there. This is in the 80s, right? In the 1980s? Yeah, I remember going to Wolfgang Puck had a Chinese restaurant, Chinois on Main, I think he called it. And my wife Julie and I went there once. Yeah.
Yeah. Those people are all around us. They are 2nd Street. Main Street is 2nd Street. And then there's 3rd Street. So anyway, I kept that until all the way until I kept it from until we had the riots of that guy that got
Rodney King, 92.
April.
Yeah.
And so that did a lot of damage to the business, and our lease was about to end, and the place where I was, they were going to tear it down because some big company, which was Sephora.
Oh yeah,
was going to come and do a big thing in there, and so there we were. There was me, Oasis Grill Algerian. There was a guy from some Ethiopia. There was a guy from Egypt. There was a Chinese guy. There was a Japanese guy, and there was an Italian pizza. So all of us, they moved. It was just like a nice hallway with beautiful sitting area for everyone, and it gave also right on the promenade itself. It was very nice. But that was so. And now you go, it's no longer there.
Yeah, I was going to say, you knew Abdel Rabaj, right?
Yes,
Did you know Abdel? Yeah, and then he opened a very successful restaurant, right, Janice, in New York City?
Abdel actually
opened
several, and then he just said he had a Moroccan restaurant.
Right.
And
in
then
New York.
in New York. And then after 9/11, people were coming in and, they were nasty because it was Arab or Moroccan. There was nothing wrong with Morocco, but they then just closed it down.
Yeah. This is what happens in life because of these things. I ended up by having all that knowledge from the food industry that I was involved in. I had an idea. I said, hey, I saw the couscous was the #1 seller for the whole time that I was there. We used to do 300 couscous a day on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's like 1,000 couscous.
Wow.
And some were with lamb chops, and some were with just vegetarian. Because it was whole wheat, organic. That the couscous was made. It came from France, like that, in big bag of 55 kilos. And so what I decided, I said, okay, why don't I make a vegetarian whole wheat couscous, just to go in boxes. Put a little fork in there, put a little thing of homemade hot sauce that we make ourselves. There's no preservatives, no nothing, and it's only vegetarian with vegetables in its own sauce and something like that. And I will distribute it through the Vons, Pavilions, and Trader Joe's. The time was Trader Joe's and Mrs. Gucci's. And I made a deal with a distributor who delivered fresh juice to Pavilions to deliver my couscous. And I made a deal with a French lady who had a USDA approved facility because she made foie gras during the day and it got transformed at nighttime, and we did that. So at nighttime was my time from 7 p.m. until the next morning, 5 a.m. That was when they made all the couscous, and the trucks would come to pick it up and go. And he was going very good like that until what happened? Oh.
Something happened.
Until I stupidly fell in love with the woman who gave birth to our beautiful daughter, Gabriella. And I let go of everything. End of that story about.
That'll do it sometimes, love is
And then after that, I got involved after that, and I got involved and went to China and started to make electronic cigarettes for many clients that I knew in LA. So I spent 5 years in China going back and forth, doing all kinds of stuff like that. And then at the end I said, hey, to hell with it. I said, I'm done. I want to rest. I want to retire. I retired early. I retired when I was 22. I've been retired 15 years. So
now, how do you like it in Morocco? I mean, in Agadir, what is it that drew you to it? Obviously, Algeria is nearby, but what was it that attracted you to come back to Morocco?
Exactly the same as Torrance. It's got a bay. It's got a long beach, beautiful bay, and it's the same size, 450,000 people. I don't like big cities, and I don't like to be away from the water. I walk down to the beach from where I live.
Wow.
I walked down to it just like I did when I was in Torrance. I went down to Torrance, but right to Redondo Beach Pier. That's exactly where I live. 1 mile. This is 1.25 miles. So.
Well, and also Agadir is a beautiful city.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed it. It's very clean, very modern compared to the rest of Morocco.
So you see what they're doing now. There's a huge mall being huge mega mall being finished almost in the next 7 months. They repave the main streets. They do all kinds of nice parking lots, and it really is amazing. And you can do whatever you want to do. All you have to do is just go down, and you never get tired of walking along the coast and along the beaches, because there are stores, there are bars, there are restaurants. There's animation at nighttime. People are out. It's not like dead.
Yeah.
A lot of people live to go out there at nighttime, especially from this point on. It really is a time.
What's the weather like? How does it compare to California?
Same as Torrance. Daytime 84, 85, evening 56, 58. Very nice. Very
good.
We have only, just like in California, just like in Torrance, in the month of October, maybe about 10 days in the 90s. And at nighttime, maybe in the low 70s. Mm-hmm. That's all nice and smooth. Very nice.
That's great.
But also the water is warmer than the Pacific.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
It's Atlantic, and it is not as deep as going into a beach, in on the beach. When you go in, you go there like about 3 meters.
Yeah. Drop off. Yeah.
You could go almost a kilometer out, and you're still here. No. And you could throw a quarter, and you could follow it going down.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So I want to ask you another question, Bel, that we talked about. Now, after all this time, you're 77 years old and all that. You met Hubbard when you were 20, right? 20 years old. What are your reflections, or what are your feelings about Hubbard and Scientology and your time in Scientology, now after all this time has passed?
I have said it before. I will say it now, and I will always say it. To me, that man was wonderful. He never lied to me about anything. If he told me stories that were untrue, I have no idea of verifying, so I can't say. He was very entertaining, extremely entertaining. He cared about me, about teaching me. I could feel it. I mean, Janice could tell you that sometimes I used to spend 2.5 hours with him up there in that office, just by him and me.
Yep.
I'd take him folders and he'd be telling me stories, I felt that he was really caring about me succeeding. And he never put me down about if I made, mind you, I had like about 90-some% success rate on my auditing with him. Thank God. The only time he got really mad at me, and rightfully so, is when he found out about his daughter, which is right. All right, and that's it. That incident for me is totally justified and correct. I'm lucky to have escaped just with that, nothing else. I could have been thrown overboard in the middle of the ocean. Who knows? Who knows? But my feeling is that the time that I spent aboard that ship was a fantastic adventure. I mean, look at it. I come from the street. I know nothing about Scientology, nothing about the Sea Org, nothing about L. Ron Hubbard, nothing about the people. I only met two: the guy with the telexes and Dick Ladd.
Right.
That I worked with almost on a daily basis, and from that got developed, where I got all the training courses.
I lost you somehow. We can't hear you, Bill.
We lost your mic.
I said, no, it's my voice.
Oh, okay.
During all that time, I feel so good in that I'm lucky. I was taken in as a student. I was given green light. Just study and succeed in study. Do your auditing, do your courses, pass them, and don't be afraid. Just go on. That's what I felt. I felt empowered to just move on, And as I was going through the courses, I was also getting the auditing of those courses. So I had very thorough, nice, coming from the street, and then all of a sudden being involved in the family of this guy, and meeting this guy and becoming involved with him. I became to be transformed. I became aspiring to become much better and always the best. Whatever happened, and I got shipped out of the ship because of what I did, I don't feel regret about it, that I got shipped out. No, I think it's the right thing to have done. I don't feel sorry it never continued with that beautiful creature. I don't know where it would have taken us, because it was a fantastic love story. And,
Bill, let me ask you though, what about later you had your daughter and your wife, they disconnected from you, right? Your daughter did, right? For some time. So how do you feel about that now in retrospect?
I understand it. I hate it. And I don't like it, but I understand that this is what they have to do. And this is their modus operandi. And this is their policy. But, deep down, it is incorrect. Deep down, it is not right. But there again, I take it upon the person themselves. There should be a mutual desire to want to reconnect. She's afraid of reconnecting, my daughter. She's afraid of reconnecting because her mother is still alive. Once her mother dies, maybe she will reconnect. I have no idea. her mother has an influence on her you cannot believe, as did her grandmother on her mother, you know? So,
Now,
yes.
Belle, I thought in the 80s you did the Scientology A to E to get back in good standing. Because I remember seeing a letter. Nobody knew who you were, and they brought me this letter. And it was from you doing an A to E step.
That was in Los Angeles with Diane McDonald. She was the MAA. And that was to try and gain access back. Not to be back to the Sea Org or to, but I don't remember the exactness of the A to E steps, but it was admitting some things. I don't know. I don't.
Right.
What was the A to E? What was it exactly? Remind
Well,
me.
that was when you're declared a suppressive person. You had to do A to E steps.
What were they?
Oh, I don't remember what they
I mean,
were.
you had to admit all your
Yeah,
overs
it
and
was.
withholds.
I
Yeah.
remember.
You know, you had to pay any debts. You had to
Yeah.
make up damage by doing something.
Retrain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did tell them, and they showed me like an invoice. I don't remember. At that time was 43,000 or 143,000 or whatever. It was an astronomical sum. And I did admit to them at that time, yes, that I did audit for so many thousands of dollars from Nikita Paris, and it took that money from me and all of that stuff. I did that. And then I walked away. But I don't know what happened afterwards. No idea.
Oh, okay.
No
I thought
idea.
you were trying to get back in good standing.
Well, he wanted to reconnect with his daughter, right?
Yeah.
I wanted. That was beginning of the time that I'm beginning to search for Amina, and I knew she was in the Commodore's Messengers org CMO.
Yes.
That's where she was.
So let me ask you this, Belle. In retrospect, you weren't doing anything suppressive, right? I mean, you weren't out there saying Hubbard is this and Scientology is that.
No, never.
So your daughter, in retrospect, you think about it, you were no danger to her whatsoever. That's what's so ridiculous about this disconnection policy.
Yeah.
Because you're just the father. You want to love your daughter. You're not trying to stop her from doing what she's doing, right?
Yeah, but remember that her mother has a beef against me for not having wanted to stay with her. Be officially married after she delivered Amina.
Right.
And she asked me point blank. And I said, no way that I would be married at this age. I'm going to be married so young. I looked like a baby at that time. I remember. I looked like a little boy. So there's no way. And she never, ever forgave me for that till this day. I spoke to her mom, who hated my guts for
every time you do that, the thumbs up goes on. Go ahead.
Every time I do this, what?
Yeah, the thumbs up comes up on your screen.
Her mother hated my guts.
Yeah.
And I remember I met her in the late 70s. She came and took a bunch of money. I told her, to meet me because I was traveling a lot. And I had accumulated the money to give her. At that time, I was paying $300 a month for child support. And I remember she came and I gave her $3,600 for 1 full year ahead of time. And I met her in the offices of the place where I used to be at the time. And I never saw her again. Then she died afterwards. I spoke to her brother, who helped me locate her quite a number of times. So I was in good state. Her father liked me very much, even though I didn't want to continue be married to his daughter. But the mother and her, big deal. Not the girl, because the girl, when I left, she was very young.
Yeah.
When I separated from Edith, Amina was 1 year old, 1.5 years old. So she doesn't know me until she met me, and her mother told her I had died when I showed up on Fountain Avenue with her birth certificate. We sat down on the pavement, and he was supposed to go to dinner, and then he wanted to come and bang me up again, and I ran over them.
And you've not seen her since?
No. Only pictures of her on the internet.
Yeah, it's a shame.
She's
still,
and she has
she's still in the Sea Org? She's still in the Sea Org?
No, she's a publisher of a newspaper. She's a photographer,
Oh.
black and white photographer for a newspaper in Dublin, Ireland. She's married to an Irish guy, and they have a daughter called Darla.
And they're still Scientologists.
Evidently, because when I called her, she said, "You're doing that."
Yeah.
If my mother found out, I'd be cooked. So
Let me ask you one last question, because we're getting at the end here of the thing. Do you still find, 50 years later, is there stuff that you learned in Scientology that you still apply throughout your life, after leaving?
the touch assist is a miracle remedy. That's the number one that I have. The R3Rs, I can self-audit because I am qualified. I can R3R myself on some things, but I don't do it. I know how to resolve a PTP if I want to get ahead. I'm not going to stay outside of the realm of reality.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't try. I never try to upset someone or let someone upset me. So that I stay kind of cool and calm throughout the day. But I'm very dynamic.
Yeah.
And things get to me if I don't see them right. And I might say something that is out of place, but I'm the first one to apologize if I'm out of step.
Yeah.
So I learned about self-control. I learned about the tone scale. I recognize where I am at. I know what to do to get out of it. No self-pity, nothing. Hey, I consider myself, just imagine, suppose I never had those 2 years. We wouldn't be here. I would not have met Janice.
Right.
I would not have met you. I
Right.
would not have the people that I met. I would not have had those experiences. The only guy that I think had something negative about me on that ship was Bill Robinson. He thought I was a spy coming from somewhere. But he was a kook. He was really a kook inside him.
He thought there were a lot of spies and Martians chasing us around Los Angeles.
But he did not really like me a lot. He never smiled with me that much. He never talked to me that much. Volitionally, he avoided me for whatever reason. Maybe because the time that he spent with LRH were all to do with job and technical oriented to do with the ship, but nothing personal.
Right.
That I could see during the time that I was there, but I can't say it was like that forever. But his own wife didn't speak kindly of him either. Joan never spoke to him highly or kindly of so-called Captain Bill.
Well, here, I'll give you a little story. One day, Hubbard comes out onto the balcony on the prom deck where your office was. And Joan actually was in your office where you used to be. And she comes out and she's wearing sunglasses.
Sure would.
And so Hubbard comes over and pulls up her sunglasses and sees she's got a black eye.
Oh, my God.
And he says, "What happened?" So Joan has to tell him Captain Bill hit her.
Wow.
So I then had to go and get Captain Bill and have him report to the captain's cabin. And then Hubbard and Joan went up there, and LRH did a whole marriage handling on the two of them for Bill having punched out Joan.
Wow.
See? You see? That's the kind of LRH. That's the kind of guy he was. And that's the kind of guy the other dude was. Anyhow. But for me, to answer your question, my friend, I am extremely delighted in my life to have had that added experience that I never could dream of buying. I mean,
Exactly.
movies in there. There's lots of movies in there, beautiful movies.
Yeah, there are.
And the beauty of it is that it still continues with the people that I knew then. I mean, if I met Hannah Eltringham today, I would never have the slightest fear of telling her, lady, if I was 20 years older than I was when I first came aboard the ship, you would have been. I mean, that's a kind of affinity and reality and freedom of expression that you felt good. She was surrounded by men who would, Joe von Stalin was the number one, even though he had a beautiful wife, But anyway.
Yeah.
I want to interrupt here just for a second to say the stories like this are in Janice's book, Commodore's Messenger, Book 1, on the Apollo. And that's Janice there walking with L. Ron Hubbard. And you can get Book 1 or Book 2 or both at our merchandise store, autographed by Janice, and she'll autograph it to you. All you need to do is just order it at our merchandise store down below, and you can read these stories as well as see photographs during that time period on the Flagship Apollo. And it's just a great book. So if anybody hasn't ordered it or would like to get a copy, just go down below and you can order it there. Sorry, I had to pop that in there.
Thanks, Mark.
Tony, I will say it again. For those of you that have not had the chance to open those books and read them, please do. You will go through fantastic movies. I mean, sci-fi in reality, down to earth, and mixed with beautiful colors and people and reality of things. You will actually feel what happened. And that cover, by the way, is beautiful because that's exactly how it was on the front there, walking with him and you behind.
Calhoun took that picture.
Who?
Calhoun. Sylvia. Yeah.
This picture here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. She was a great photographer. She still is.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is.
She left some nice comments that were very touching for me, We had the opportunity, Hawa and I, to take her to lunch in Torrance Japanese market one day when she came by to see us, and we had to spend a good time. A wonderful lady. And then also when Malcolm came, you see, how could anybody buy such a portion of their life? I think my life has a portion in it which has no price tag. Experience-wise, gain-wise, richness, mystery, drama, life, things. Oh man, great.
I think Janice. I know I agree with you, Belle, because my life was not boring and it was not normal, and my experiences are unlike those of many people that I grew up with and that I know. And I'm sure it's the same for you too, Janice, right?
Oh yeah, very much like Belle. I don't have regrets for what my life was. I became very knowledgeable. I have a 6th grade education, but I have so much more knowledge on top of that.
Unfortunately, the thing that's so unfortunate is that right now, I think the lingering consequence of the negativity about Scientology is being created by what's happening with this David Miscavige and all of the horde of the people that he had around them, and some of them died and some are still around and some surrendered and some changed and whatever it was. I mean, I think this is what is left. The legacy should never have been being taken by this guy and his group of dogs. And I don't know how he has not been taken out. I don't know.
Yeah, Belle, you can appreciate this. He's canceled the briefing course, the Sand Hill Special Briefing Course. They don't deliver it anymore. They don't deliver the Sand Hill Special Briefing Course. Right. So that's how you became a Class 6 auditor, right?
Yeah.
The briefing course. It's not there anymore.
Anyway, that's what I'm trying to tell you. This man thinks he's a pharaoh, and you know how the pharaohs end. So we'll see. They drown. They usually drown. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're at the end here, Belle. I'm just going to do a little business here. We're going to thank you for being here. Please subscribe to our channel. Anybody watching, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Rock slam the like button, as Janice likes to say. If you'd like to be a member of our channel, right next to the subscribe button on a PC or laptop, there's a little button where it says join. Just click on that. There's a little video that explains how the membership works and what the perks are that you get. But it really is a great way to support our channel, and we really appreciate those that are members and anybody else that would like to become one. And then the other thing I want to mention, if you've got any questions or comments, please write down below. Of course, we answer all of those. And then another way you can support us is buy us a coffee. There's a link in the description. You can buy us a coffee. The money goes back into the channel. I mean, we don't make, Janice and I don't live off of this money, trust me. And it goes back into this. So if you'd like to support, buy us a coffee. I'd really appreciate that. Bel, we really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. And I'm sure we'll probably have more to talk to you about in the future, right, Janice?
We will see.
I am thankful to you for the opportunity, to be honest with you, because I just would love, for nothing else, but anyone who has any doubt about the workability of the technology or the real true story of who LRH is should never be influenced by what they read nowadays. They should read your books. They should go and find out how to help themselves. They should do some Dynetics courses. They should get some Dynetic auditing. They should get some GF4s. They should get all of this. They will nothing but help them. Nothing but help them discover some things about them that they never knew how to handle before. And this is what stays with me. I have a tremendous respect for that man and love for him and his family and the friends that I made and what he left with me. And I'll ever be grateful. Thank you for the opportunity to let me express that.
Thank you, Bel. We appreciate your
Thanks.
stories. Janice, have you got anything else you'd like to say?
As I said, I always love talking to Bel. He's fun. Thank you.
Dear, same to you.
Okay, great. Hang on. We're going to end the video and we'll talk to you on the other side, okay? Until next time, everybody. Bye-bye. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.